Hey, we're going on a side quest.
Okay, so a while ago, I stumbled upon this video about writing dialogue and how to do it well. They used Arcane as the primary example, and I thought that the first bit of the video that I watched was really solid. I'm not really writing dialogue though, so I didn't really watch the whole thing, but I put it in my back pocket just in case I needed it. And a while later, just recently in fact, I started writing a little book for myself. I've really enjoyed it, but my dialogue is bad. It's really bad. So I remembered that old video about Arcane's dialogue and how to write your own good dialogue, and I was thinking, hey, I should pull that back out, see what I can learn. So I went back to the channel, Local Script Man, aka Lucas, and I checked out that video again, but I couldn't help but notice that's a really old video he made a few years ago. His newer stuff has had a very different reception. This guy went from getting hundreds of thousands, upwards of a couple million views, to getting like 20K, 30K at best. And those new videos, they have almost universal negative reception. And on top of that, he's made a few community posts that have been ratioed to hell and back. And if you're getting ratioed on your own YouTube community tab, something has really gone wrong. That means you've lost your base. Getting canceled has never been this fun, bro. It's easier to label a radical new perspective as distortion or sacrilege or outright neurosis than it is to make space for it. Everybody loves righteous anger until it's their myth in the crosshairs. I actually am okay, believe it or not. You'll have to frame your anger as concern. Prayers for love and evolution. And there's no way to kill a channel faster than losing your core audience. So what the hell happened to Local Script Man? Why did his channel fall apart? Why is his audience turning against him? Is it because of a crash out, a mental breakdown, or a satirical grift? We're going to be answering that question and also answering why it really doesn't matter in the end. It's a fascinating story. The story of a guy who lost everything to simp for AI. So, without further ado, guys, what the hell happened?
You're afraid of true creative meritocracy.
Local Script Man. Think we already get the gist, right? Writing YouTuber, solid audience, around 200,000 subscribers, covered some more niche writing topics like character enneagrams, did a whole series where he reviewed pop culture, saw the writing advice in our favorite movies and television shows, both the good and the bad, and had some solid videos that got pretty popular in the algorithm. His channel was going strong, but the first signs of trouble came only around a month ago. He released a video that was like many of his other videos. It was about writing advice. But this one was different. Instead of reviewing pop culture and looking at writing advice from that, or looking at something a bit more known like character enneagrams, he was looking at a really niche pseudoscience theory about the progression of society written by some guy named Ken. Not that one. Another Ken. And the reception to this was rough. There was a couple reasons why. Number one, this pseudoscience theory about the progression of society throughout history was bad. As most pseudoscience is, it was very dodgy. And on top of that, if you're trying to boil down society to these super rigid categories and claiming that this is the truth that people don't want you to know about society, people weren't trying to hide the science that Ken made. It was pseudoscience that was denounced for multiple different reasons. And on top of that, these sort of rigid structures are bad for history, but they're also bad for storytelling. If you're giving writing advice, stories are the primary reason you're giving that advice, and stories are not meant to follow super rigid structures. Yeah, structures like the alignment chart in Dungeons and Dragons, they're fun, but to say that you need to rigidly follow that chart is obviously bad advice, right? So yeah, there were many reasons why this video was received rather poorly. But this video would be nothing compared to what is to come. Pray for me, y'all. I might get a chance to go big tonight. we're actually going to rewind just a little bit here. A few months back, this guy made a really big announcement that his audience would need to be patient with him as he is moving across the country, presumably to LA. Now, months later, and just after this video about this weird pseudoscience structure, Lucas from Local Script Man would reveal his new LA perspective in a video called AI and the Creative Revolution.
Entertainment is about to change forever, and if you want to be a part of it, you need to change the way that you think. I will not coddle you with lies. AI is going to take your job.
If you are somehow unaware, generative AI is a real hot button topic, especially on YouTube. I saw at first it was really negatively received by a lot of people in the creative industry for many different reasons. Generative AI blatantly steals often copyrighted work and then mushes it together to create works of its own. It is the definition of soulless slop, and a lot of creatives were very quick to call out how harmful this is to the art world and the art industry. On top of that, a lot of just like common, normal, non-artist people were just tired of seeing this kind of slop pop up in their feed. YouTubers like Drew Gooden made videos calling out AI on social media. Charlie from Moist Critical, every other drama video he does now is talking about AI and why he's scared of AI and thinks it's a major problem. A lot of tech YouTubers, despite the fact that they're covering products that feature AI, often raise red flags about the way this AI could potentially be used. It is a really, really rough topic for many, many people, not just artists. Artists are particularly heated about AI though, and artists aren't just people who draw or paint, it's also people who write. So it's not surprising that the audience of a guy like Local Script Man, a guy who gives writing advice, it's not surprising that kind of audience would be very hostile to AI. And for some reason, Lucas from Local Script Man thought it would be a good idea to make a pro-AI video. So with that context out of the way, what are his arguments? Well, his primary argument is that art is a labor thing, that artists frame art as something that is labor, and therefore art needs to be separated from that labor. AI is a tool to do that.
Who's gonna see my talent and cut me in on their success is a labor mindset, and you are not a laborer, you are a creator. Ooh, but capital it don't.
Bro really just looked at a fundamental part of society in that you need to make money to live and really just went, no. His argument is that artists have historically made art a gate-kept skill that other people didn't have access to. Art is expensive, it takes time to make, but with the advent of AI, now anyone can gain access to the art they need to create their project, circumventing these gatekeeping artists and getting them out of the way. He also argues that the disintegration of certain fields of work is natural and just part of the progression of society.
You might find a path in a traditional lane. I'm not ruling that out, but be for real. How many calligraphers do you know? I'm sorry, I'm just a messenger.
He, of course, ignores the fact that the mathematicians that were once calculators trickled into other fields that work within mathematics. STEM still has an M in it. Calculators did not replace the need to do math the way that AI is seeking to replace the need to do art. This is the sort of context that's often lost in these pro-AI videos, but to be frank, sometimes AI videos like this make comments that are just completely unhinged and insane, you know, like this.
Once we get through this rough patch, we'll have UBI, universal health care, and land back for indigenous, and all kinds of dope shit. Since
like bro saw AI replace artists and saw universal basic income and decided we're gonna somehow draw a line between these two, and I'm just gonna figure out the how later on. It is a crazed video. It doesn't help that he has picked an entirely new aesthetic for his channel. He's filming in front of this weird bikini picture of the American flag, and on top of that, he's dressed like Diddy meets Steve Jobs, the turtleneck, the douchebag chain that cost $19.99 on Amazon. The picture is just so perfect for the most mediocre of men. A little too perfect, actually. We'll we'll get into the Schrodinger's box of that later on. But yeah, this video was received badly. Like, the last video had negative reception. This video was universal vitriol because, again, his audience are artists, people who like really hate this AI stuff, on top of the just general public who already are pretty hard on this AI stuff. One particular comment that got a lot of attention, though, was from Hello Future Me, another very popular writing YouTuber who has been making videos for years, long before Lucas has been. Don't know about this man. It seems to overlook a lot of things. The idea that AI is going to help the working class seems to miss the reality. The end game of AI companies is not everyone gets to share the art they make with the rest of the world, but that the creator will be ultimately irrelevant to the creation of widely consumed art. The only trajectory for AI tech seems to be less human involvement. If Disney could generate films without human input, they would. You might be able to generate the book you want, but will you be able to reach anyone with it? He also goes on a very angry rant about his own generation, Gen Z.
Oh my god, did you hear such and such did that? That's so problematic. Why aren't we talking about this? More people need to be talking about this. Sure, you talk about it. I am busy. You are digital livestock. Moo.
All about cancel culture, how drama has consumed us, how we're all sheep, which I think that whole rant's gonna be very interesting once we open this box, but we'll get back to it. For now, it's a complete side tangent in a video that's about frickin' AI, man. Like, he literally transitions into this completely different topic by just saying, "You're in hell." Like, wow, dude. Artful script writing. I can tell that you belong in Hollywood. Yeah, that's a solid takedown. That honestly doesn't even factor in all the things that were grossly wrong with this video. But yeah, there you go. That seems like the end of it, right? Did he make a retraction or do anything to curb this fire that was quickly consuming his channel? No, he doubled down. He decided to pull a Jeremy. Yeah, remember that guy? He'll come back to this channel, don't worry. But he decided to pull a Jeremy from a previous episode of our show in order to film a video in his car ranting about AI some more, as well as a recent film he saw that apparently confirms his worldview around AI.
But then it occurred to me that this abomination was proving my point. Coming back from my bathroom break. But then it occurred to me that this abomination was proving my point about AI and creativity. The point that cost me 2,000 subscribers last week. Technical ability means nothing if you don't have a passionate creative team.
Goodness. This whole argument ignores the fact that technical incompetency is not the only reason movies fail. It could be budgetary, it could be crunch. There are so many reasons that a film could be bad besides technical competency or artistic creative needs, right? This guy just loves to take things and pluck them right out of context to support his pro-AI argument, which is not rare for AI creators. He would also have some live streams around the same time. One was a still image just playing a bunch of pop songs in the background, copyrighted pop songs that got the stream taken down, and the other was him just like wordlessly dancing to nothing and then saying a Bible verse at the end, while again wearing the douche-baggiest outfit I've ever seen in my life. Whew boy. His final video, though, posted 5 days before the recording of this video here. His final video would be the most fascinating one in my mind. It is a review for the new James Gunn Superman film, which this dude did not like.
Superman 2025 is undeniable proof of the moral, social, intellectual, and spiritual decay of the human race.
Fun fact, there was an alternate universe where this video right here was going to be about the James Gunn Superman movie and the Snyder Bro reaction to the James Gunn Superman movie, but I decided to talk about this instead. Of course, I couldn't avoid the cringe of bad Superman reviews, so here we are, back again. This guy's points against Superman are pretty pedantic. For most of the video, he's just nitpicking about the movie, pointing out little things like
The journalist character in this movie is treating social media discourse like a valid theater of thought. Insane.
That's a pretty normal line of dialogue in the movie. There is cringy dialogue in the 2025 Superman movie, like, super shit is in here. If you're gonna rant about the dialogue, why not pick something like that? Why this? I mean, come on, man. What are we doing here? He would then move on to ranting for a lengthy period of time about Superman and Lois's relationship.
You do know that they're supposed to be in love, right, James? That's like their whole thing. She's a journalist and she's the only one who knows his truth. That's the dramatic core of their relationship. You do know that, right?
He gets like really angry about this. The idea that Superman and Lois aren't deeply in love on screen, that they're in a quote-unquote situationship and they're incompatible, which like, no, they're not. I mean, yeah, they're two different people. The film points that out, but like, no friend of mine has a significant other that is their clone. Everybody is different from the people around them in some way, shape, or form. My parents aren't clones of each other, and neither are this guy's. I mean, do you have friends? Do you have parents? How do you not know this? Not everybody is identical with their partner. This is basic knowledge. His argument revolves around, what about the kids? You're teaching them about situationships and normalizing these relationships, which, like, isn't a bad thing. Like, people aren't immediately in love the minute they start dating. Like, yeah, there is sometimes an awkward stage. And yeah, Lois is extending that awkward stage past where it should be because she's bad at relationships. She spells it out in the movie. Her whole character arc is getting over those relationship issues, getting over her isolation that she has enforced upon herself, her suspicion. One of my least favorite parts of the Superman movie, a movie I overall like but had my criticisms for, one of my least favorite parts was when Lois kind of spelled out her character arc and says directly to Clark Kent, I knew this wouldn't work. I'm bad at relationship. I felt like the writers were being a bit heavy-handed there because, I mean, I could tell that Lois was bad at relationships. I could tell this was going to be her character arc. But clearly I was incorrect because, I mean, some people still obviously did not get the obvious character arc. So maybe it was a good thing that they pointed out. Anyway, his review of Superman is honestly completely irrelevant because this is the main point of the video.
And LA almost convinced me that I was the crazy one. They came so close. But despite the absolute gauntlet of gaslighting I've been put through, I know I'm right. The culture desperately needs good stories. So either get your shit together or let me cook, because this is bad.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious that that big offer he got, it didn't go his way. It's pretty obvious that the LA trip, all his dreams, they didn't amount to much. He was rejected. And that sucks. Like, I want to make this clear. I am worried about this guy to a degree. He is being a big old douche canoe to both his audience and anyone watching his videos. He's acting like an ass, and I reserve the right to make fun of people who are acting like asses. But at the same time, like, I'm not going to celebrate the fact that this guy is clearly bummed out about losing this opportunity. I mentioned before that I stumbled on that Arcane video, but didn't finish it. I put it in my back pocket. Well, a big reason why I decided not to finish that video was because this guy really reminded me of myself in a lot of ways that I'm a bit insecure about. For starters, we sound similar. He talks in a similar cadence that I do off camera, and I'm very insecure about that. If you're unaware, my voice was one of my biggest insecurities for a very long time. So obviously, hearing that just said back to me from another guy was just, ugh. But on top of that, I've been rejected from big creative opportunities too. I used to want to be a musician, a jazz musician. I rigorously practiced saxophone, but a little while in, I had a whiplash-like experience. If you haven't seen that movie, it's a movie where a director pretty viciously abuses his band members. And while it didn't get to a physical level of abuse, it was pretty heart-wrenching for me. I distinctly remember afterwards, my private tutor told me that I was different, that I had no joy anymore when it comes to music. I changed. And I feel like that's what's happening to this guy too. Like, he went to LA, wanted to work in film, got rejected, and it changed him. That could explain this crash out. That could explain this difference. He was shown to be untalented and now wants to use services like AI to supplement that talent. But not only that, he wants to supplement that talent in a way that is seen as legitimate. Like I said before, AI is not popular. The people who rely on it, they're not liked. So he makes these videos to justify the use of AI to supplement his talent and to remove those insecurities. But It's time to open that little box because there's a few things about these videos that are just a little too perfect. Come on, the sudden shift in tone, the on-the-nose weird live stream that was just a little bit too much, the repeated random mentions of Kendrick Lamar as a hyperfixation that seems to come out of nowhere for his channel, the outfit that's just a little too perfect for a douchebag character, and on top of that, this little clip from the very end of his Superman review.
Hey, what's this? It's Star Wars Episode 10. It's the biggest movie of all time. It's Deadpool and Wolverine meets Not Like Us. Nobody fucking wanted it.
Star Wars Episode 10, and the first page is Mace Windu. Come on. Now, I've seen people genuinely be this stupid, but I do want to briefly address the possibility that this is a really misguided, elaborate bit. What is this bit trying to prove? Bro, I could not tell you. Satire is great. I love Satire as Mr. Next guy, but Satire is supposed to be funny. This isn't funny. Nobody's laughing. Most people are just pissed off. I mean, maybe his point is that he's angering people. Like, that could be him winning. Maybe he comes out with a video that's like, haha, I pissed you all off with my AI video. I proved the point that, like, Gen Z is falling apart to online outrage. But, like, bro, you are artificially manufacturing that outrage. You are literally purposefully making yourself part of the problem. At least when other creators are bringing up drama around YouTube and social media, they're talking about issues that they perceive as legitimate. You are creating knowingly an illegitimate issue to what? Prove that all issues are illegitimate? That doesn't really check out, man. I think the Star Wars Episode 10 thing, it's just too perfect to be real. It's so ridiculous that I think there's a decent chance that I'm going to open the Schrodinger's box and find satire within it. If I do, then it was a ridiculously misguided joke. His videos are tanking in viewership, and he has lost 6,000 subscribers, which doesn't seem like a lot in comparison to 200,000, but it is a lot. Those are your active viewers, the people actively participating in your channel. Losing those people tells the algorithm that you are on the way out, and that is really, really bad. Oh, and on top of all that, it's not even good satire. Look, come on, you're gonna make a satirical Superman review, but you don't even bring up Zack Snyder in the entire runtime? What are you doing, man? That's prime satire. If we're gonna do funny, be funnier. But yeah, that's the possibility of satire. But in the end, I really don't think it matters whether or not this Crashout is legit or not, because other guys have already done it! When I tell you this sort of creative Crashout, a guy tries to enter creative space, gets rejected, gets mocked, and then goes to AI to supplement his own creativity, when I tell you it's happened multiple times, bro, it has happened multiple times. I used to be a huge fan of a YouTuber named Austin McConnell. This guy was really public about his Hollywood failures. One of my favorite videos of all time used to be this video where he talks about the making of his short film and how it fell apart, how it made him miserable, everything he did wrong. I watched that video with my grandfather, who worked in the film industry, worked on movies alongside Ridley Scott himself. My grandfather was brought to tears by that video. Me too. Because it's such a good video about the passion behind filmmaking, the passion that is required. But years later, he would land in some hot water because when making his own cinematic universe with royalty-free characters, he used AI art. And a lot of people did not like that. And he made a video defending himself. He was a lot more moderate about the situation, but he used a lot of arguments that are really reminiscent of Lucas's arguments, except there's no way this guy's doing any sort of satire. He would also get into some heat for using AI to make the cover of one of his books, a young adult book, and if you go into the comments, you'll notice that a lot of people are being censored for talking about AI. I only found one comment that even brought it up, and considering the controversy he got in last time, it's pretty clear that he's pulling a Lily Orchard in his own comment section, which, yeah, man, come on. But that dude is nothing compared to Shadiversity. Shadiversity also has the shared trait of not really being taken seriously in the field that he covers. For a long time, he covered swords and armor. He was a sword medievalist YouTuber, and he did pretty well in that category, but he would start trying to make his own hot take opinions, like for example, theorizing that a double-bladed real-life version of like Darth Maul's lightsaber would be the best medieval weapon. When people would push back on this or give him just the most harmless criticism, he would push back pretty aggressively and end up just embarrassing himself in front of the community. Beyond that, his channel would also begin to really peter out, and this resulted in him just turning full-on grifter mode on his second channel. He would talk about how he just hates gay rights, hates how women are portrayed in media, complain about Princess Peach having pants. Hell, he even went on a similar Superman rant to Lucas over here. It's just all connected. Beyond his medieval stuff, he also tried getting into creative projects, just like Austin, just like Lucas. With Shad, it was a book, Shadow of the Conqueror, and yeah, this book has been received, very interestingly. Yeah, it has good reviews on Amazon and Goodreads, websites known for their objective, fair, not rigged reviews, absolutely. But on like basically every other website, any coverage of his book, it's universally negative. People don't like this. Why do people dislike this? Well, Shadiversity thinks it's because of his political opinions, which I think is not completely unreasonable, considering the book is literally just his political opinions put in fiction form. But beyond that, I think people also dislike the book because it's about a mass murdering child sociopath being a Mary Sue main character, legally killing a bunch of people with a frickin' video game skill tree ass magic system, with the most boring writing I have ever read, with god-awful sentence structure and grammar, and barely any editing. It is a horrible book that also is, like I said earlier, filled with this guy's nonsense politics too. So yeah, people don't like this. Another failed creative endeavor. But the real connection is his AI obsession. Like all the other guys in this video, Shadiversity also loves AI and using it to create art. He thinks AI is the future, and he thinks that AI makes better art than even the best artists. He thinks AI is better than Studio Ghibli, that the time of art is done and AI is here to save us, which is very weird considering that he's also made videos where he's like celebrating Charlie from Moist Critical and his stance against AI SLOP content, which, like, bro, that's you. The call is coming from inside your house, man. Come on. All these guys, they all share the same trait. They failed. They were failures at some point, and that's okay. We try things, and we don't always succeed. There was a reason why I went on that whole spree about saxophone earlier. AI can now make music, but I'm not going to supplement my own failings as a saxophone performer, cover up all those hardships I've had with my own musical abilities by just replacing myself with an algorithm. These guys don't understand that talent is earned. It is not bestowed. Art is art because not only is it fun and enjoyable, but also because it takes effort. The process that it takes you to reach the point where you have something in your hands, something good, something that you're passionate about, something that you love, that process is what makes it good. The story behind the art is just as important as the art itself. Without that journey, there's no point. And taking a shortcut around that journey, taking a shortcut around any sort of technical skill or artistic abilities, it leads to the art feeling soulless. That's what a lot of people use to describe AI. And I don't think they're necessarily talking about some ephemeral soul. I think they're literally talking about the narrative behind the art. When you know that it was created by just typing some crap in a mid-journey, generated by a bunch of stolen copyrighted materials, where's the narrative? Where's the story? Where's the passion? Where's the love? Again, talent is earned. And I'm looking at a bunch of guys who just don't want to earn that talent, or who are too cheap to buy it. There's not much else I can really say about this, man. This shit's pathetic. But yeah, there you go. That's the story of Lucas from Local Script Man and his either legitimate crash out or satirical rant about Gen Z and AI art, as well as the tales behind Austin McConnell and Shad Diversity. Perhaps future videos for another day. In any case, if you guys enjoyed this episode of Critical Failure Side Quest and you watched the whole thing, then please do leave the comment earned, not bestowed, to let me know at the end of the video. If you really enjoyed this and want to see more of our content, then you can check out this previous episode of Critical Failure where we covered Lily Orchard nonsense opinions about Baldur's Gate 3. It's linked in the cards. But before you go, please leave a like on this one and subscribe to Crispy's Tavern so you don't miss any of our content when it comes out. And finally, if you want to support us directly and help make these videos possible, then you can head down to our Patreon where you will get access to my exclusive homebrew campaign, an exclusive Discord, and some exclusive D&D content written by yours truly. In essence, like, comment, subscribe, support. I'll see you all next time. Farewell.